Heard at Health is sponsored video content brought to you by Med City News.
I'm with Richard Fu, who's Chief Commercial Officer at Berry Street Health, which is a nutrition therapy company that helps people, including those on GLP-1 drugs. So, Richard, I wanted to start there. How does your company, Berry Street, help someone who's considering starting taking GLP-1 drugs?
Thanks for having me. First of all, Berry Street, as you mentioned, we are a nutrition therapy platform powered by AI. We deliver personalized care, nutrition care therapy for anyone. Basically, anyone who's dealing with a number of different chronic or acute conditions, upwards of 30 or so conditions, including obesity management. And GLP-1s obviously is the hot topic right now,
absolutely.
Which is why we launched the Nutrition Pathway Program for GLP-1s. And so what people really need is to really understand from a food science standpoint, what do they actually require to stay nourished, to stay healthy, well, and actually live productive lives day in, day out? And how does it counterbalance with other conditions? So people managing obesity, managing different weight loss sort of challenges, they might have other underlying conditions. They might have other conditions tied to obviously diabetes. We hear about heart disease, but also IBD, there's also Crohn's, there's also a variety of other conditions that are needed. And so people who are exploring GLP-1s, it's an important time to really understand what do they really need from their body's perspective. And that's why we launched the program for GLP-1s.
You mentioned AI helping in creating this sort of personalized street service. Tell me a little bit more. What is the patient seeing? Is it an app that the patient downloads, or is it something that comes through a nutritionist or
it's a great question.
Their doctor?
It's both. It's both tech and also people. So it's the registered dietitian, who we actually believe is a really underutilized clinical team member in this healthcare sort of economy that we live in today. They can manage a whole suite of different types of conditions, managing adherence, managing side effects to different drugs, including GLP-1s, which is really important, but also AI. It's also understanding preferences and all the different conditions, side effect management. It's also allergies. It's also different reactions that you might not even think about that you might have with food. It's such a personal component of your life. How do you actually have an always on sort of registered dietitian at your fingertips or in your pockets, wherever you might be, so you really understand, how do I actually live with my condition? How do I actually balance my GLP-1 intake as well as what's actually just day-to-day normal life?
And so help me understand, what type of nutrition therapy does a person undergoing GLP-1 treatment need?
We recommend a 3-phase approach. So we really recommend truly a clinically backed, evidence-based program that is actually designed to get you perhaps off of the GLP-1, designed to actually help you achieve outcomes. So the first phase is a 12-week phase. It's our Explore program. Before you even get on the GLP-1, we really, really recommend understanding all the data behind your actual physiology and understand what is actually required of you to actually live that energized life that we also want. And so that's really the first phase. In fact, 1 in 5 of our patients actually see so much so many different sort of positive outcomes and benefits that some of them actually might not even require GLP-1. They don't require that injection. In fact, 1 in 5 of those patients lose about 10% of their body weight in that period, because the dietitians are actually taking control and understanding the root causes of some of their weight challenges that their physicians or their providers may not have time to actually do. So that's an important part. Now, for the other people, they actually might need it. They actually need that extra help. The GLP-1 is truly a miraculous innovation where people can actually get quick to results very, very expeditiously. And this establishes a strong foundation or core to them to actually get on the GLP-1 in a very healthy way. And so at that point, the root of your question, the nutrition therapy at that point with GLP-1 is really an all-encompassing sort of care management program. And this is where we at Berry Street really, really believe in dietitian-led care management. Everything touches what you eat and how you move. And that program is designed to be tailored to everyone's individual cultural preferences, dietary restrictions, different needs. And that's where like meal planning to the precise sort of moment of like when you should eat certain foods really does come in. And that's the type of nutrition therapy that we want to actually deploy for anyone who is on a GLP-1 medication so that they can actually manage all those different adverse effects of potentially being on this drug.
So you play a role as people are getting on the drugs, during when they're
100%.
having the drugs and having the treatment. What happens to them when they wean off of these drugs? Because you're not supposed to be on them for life.
That's right.
What kind of nutrition therapy do you need? How do they sustain a healthy weight and lifestyle after these drugs are done?
Well, at Berry Street, we're all about outcomes. We really want to focus on sustainable, as many long, healthy, productive years as possible. And the last thing we want is a relapse.
Right.
Just like in any drug or any condition, that's what we want to prevent.
Right.
And so the real focus is really this long-term sustainable prevention around nutrition care and new lifestyle habits. It's actually getting ingrained into, hey, it might make sense for me to have a banana 30 to 45 minutes before, walking to the train station every morning.
Right.
There's elements of just like natural behaviors that can actually start to ingrained into your sort of daily routine. And that's where the sustainability comes in. Now, that said, it's easier said than done.
Right.
We've tried a lot in this industry many, many times. And also it's easier said than done for some people compared to other people.
Right.
Admittedly, for me, I can probably get it ingrained in my sort of lifestyle and behavior change to really, really adopt these new therapies or these different approaches to managing my daily living. But for a lot of people, it's just not possible.
Right.
And so how do you have, back to the earlier question, how do you have that, perhaps the AI agent or perhaps the digital tools, the asynchronous communication with someone to help you stay both accountable, but also understand some of the different limitations that just daily life gets in the way.
Yeah.
And so how do I manage that? And how do I actually have access to that dietitian support at any moment and make sure that, yes, it's also something that is not financially burdensome, which in this industry right now with GLP-1s, this is the hot topic. It's great. It's a miraculous innovation, but it's expensive on all fronts. And so how do we make sure that this is so accessible and sustainable in the long run?